What's going on, everyone? If you like this video and want to support the creation of more content on this YouTube channel, don't forget to hit like and to subscribe. It's just a small thing, but it goes a long way to helping this grow. I hope you enjoy the video. I'd like to talk now about your work from the NGV Triennial, Quantum Memories, which we were talking offline about before. Could you describe that work for the listeners and explain how you went about creating it?
So first of all, I am deeply grateful for the entire opportunity to NGV and deeply grateful to people in Melbourne who saw it and sent amazing messages. Like, I'm not lying, from December opening to the end of the show. Every single morning when I wake up with a beautiful message, with some excitement, with just young generation enjoying in a different way. I mean, any level of age and background. I mean, it was just remarkable. It was beautiful. And to be honest, that's when I feel it's an art. Like when there's that connection happens, when people share that notes, that's to me art. Or at least if it's not art, what is it, right? That's that's the moment. So I'm, from that perspective, very, very grateful. But of course, Triennial is a very important event for artists and designers. It's a remarkably important curatorial decisions. And I was deeply grateful 2018 when I met with Simone and the senior, one of the curators, and Mr. Tony, who have been there with a beautiful vision. I was just honored, deeply honored. And of course, yes. But in 3 years till the opening, I was just thinking what can be the next big idea that we can enjoy, celebrate the imagination, but also understand near future. And thankfully, Google AI Quantum team, Ellen Ho, reached me literally the weeks I was just looking for what can it be. And then just hey, we are Google AI Quantum team and we love your work. We would like to think and, communicate and enjoy quantum computational. And so, whoa, that's it. Because for me, quantum computation, quantum physics is an incredible moment for me to say that it's probably one of the most major breakthrough for humanity, quantum computation.
Could you
explain,
and where
it can go?
Could you explain what quantum computation is?
Yes. So as we all know, our everyday devices and machines that now we are using, classical computers using bits and bytes, right? 1 and zeros, which is a very fundamental computational language that every machine needs to compute. But quantum computation is using a very different world of physics. In that universe, first of all, it's subatomic universe where the information can be measured through literally subatomic universe. And in that universe, things are not only in a 1 and 0, it can be in the multiple states at the same time, which allows engineers to compute data much different scale. While Einstein and many genius people have been struggling to explain such a complex, superposition, or in general, when quantum measurements happen, still there are things uncertain. While mathematics and, science allowing us to make it as certain as possible. But for me, what was much inspiring is based on an incredible theory from Hugh Everett's, a California-based early 60s. He said he coined a theory called many worlds interpretation. And
what was that? Sorry, just got up to many worlds interpretation.
Exactly. In a very high level, in every single measurement of a quantum state may open an alternative dimension, may open a new dimension we cannot see, but perhaps it exists. While nobody, proved that works, but at the meantime, nobody say or nobody prove it doesn't work. So it's in this limbo that I found fascinating. But the question is, we always need machines, right? In life, we need glass, we need VR, we need microscope, we need telescope to see space, we need microscope to see ourselves, we need nuclear imagining to understand our body, our mind. We always need machines to see the world beyond us. And I thought what kind of a machine can be visualizing this universe? And thanks to Google AI Quantum team, that was speculation that I worked with the fantastic engineers to speculate this. To make this happen, Google AI Quantum team in 2019 achieved a remarkable success called quantum advantage research, which is using 53 qubit computer here in Santa Barbara. And they were able to compute a problem in minutes versus thousands of maybe days and years may happen in a classical computer.
Wow.
Which is called quantum supremacy, I guess, or advantage, to be careful on the word choosing. And the inspiring thing is like this happened in time and space in the world. And I said, like, can we take this data and use it for our AI to make alternative dimension visible? That was a pretty interesting idea. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. And I said, what happens if we use nature? Because the science is trying to understand nature, right? Mm-hmm. A very direct concept. And I love nature, more than ever. And during pandemic and so on, like we start like collecting data of 200 million nature photos, like landscapes, water, fungi, trees, flowers, species, clouds, you name it. And then every single probably major or well-documented national parks in the world was included. And then we train this AI and let this AI to run its conditions on a quantum level noise using unique bit strings from the quantum computer experiment. So technically, that specific moment in time will not be ever happen unless that computation happened in time and space. And that bit strings was a key in this work, alternative dimension. And that's how we create these nature hallucinations from the quantum computer.
So 2 questions. With quantum memories, that's not on a loop, is it? That's constantly original, constantly new.
Some part is in a loop, some part is constantly, like it's a mixed state.
And so in order to be able to generate that visualization in an original way and without being in a loop, you needed quantum computing to be able to do that to crunch that data on such a high level?
No, the quantum computer only used once for the supremacy test from the Google team that already compute that data already. What we use another supercomputer to run the AI. Mm-hmm. And when the AI runs real time, we fed this quantum computational result to it.
Right.
Still, we have a supercomputer. a very, very pretty strong machine with a next level GPUs and so on. And the screen that we used was a 10 meter by 10 meter, remarkable screen by NEC. And it was a dream canvas. Honestly.
How much does a screen like that cost? That's one of the most beautiful screens I've ever seen in my life.
That's 7 figures we are talking about. That was not a normal experience at all. And I'm, again, deeply grateful for this such a unique experience. That's what, that sublime scale and the beautiful courtyard felt so connected.
I really hope they do keep it in that central part in the NGV because it's just such it's incredible. When you approach a company like Google or a research team at Stanford University or wherever, is the idea of making an artwork a funny thought to them? When you collaborate with someone, is it usually the first time they've thought of what they do in an artistic way?
In general, I work with the people who appreciate imagination. I guess that there's this common pattern. And it's not so hard to, imagine people who have been practicing in such an amazing mindset. I'm seeing a very similar pattern because these are the people enjoying imagination and looking for these, exciting questions. And by the way, sometimes science is very rigid and they have a very concrete walls and rules and regulations. And sometimes it puts the scientists in a way that they're in a, ultimate journey of certain sharp clarity. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like when an artist comes with these questions that maybe not fit to the nature of research, but it just opens up a new kind of a curiosity and it's a new kind of a new dimension. That happened to me a lot. When I talk with these wonderful people that we are collaborating and just discuss these ideas, seeing their face in a very beautiful, positive way, and then enjoying their knowledge and experience and try to reflect back what they know. And these are beautiful moments in time. And that's one of the reasons people are saying, like, who is your favorite artist? Like, I don't have a favorite artist. I have a favorite scientist. I have people that I admire because of their, like, function and curiosity in life. I admire them more than artists. I'm sorry. Like, but that's what it is.
Because I've listened to interviews you've given before, and your inspirations. Like you'll say you're inspired by Blade Runner or by this scientist or that scientist, and it's interesting because your work seems. I mean, it's probably the best compliment you can pay an artist, but your work seems the least derivative kind of artwork I've ever seen. I can't say, oh, that looks like he's inspired by Manet, or he was inspired by Albach or someone. It's completely original, and I think the work's just absolutely incredible.
Thank you so much. And honestly, my just desires find the poetry in those patterns and algorithms, and like what is hidden there, like what you can bring it out on the surface and bring depth to surface.
I noticed that after a certain amount of time in quantum memories, the algorithms that generate the image are displayed on the screen. And why is it important for you to show the process? Because that's something typically most artists avoid.
It is my obsession. Like, since I understand the power of AI, since I learned that how important to share, because AI is a very powerful tool, and AI is not something we can have a joke about it. AI is something I believe I'm in a very positive mood, and I always like keep my positivity and hope. And I believe humanity will be the smart move and will always keep the integrity, ethics beyond, monetization of certain things. But at the meantime, AI means our privacy and free will is on stake. Mm-hmm. So I felt my responsibility to explain which algorithm we use, how we use, which data we use. I'm very open in my process. And I think by the way, I have many copycats. Like, I have a really, really copycat does exactly what I do in a couple of months. And I mean, it's okay. Like, I'm seeing these people and, I'm not the gatekeeper of any idea, but, this creates those problems because you share so much. And then maybe the technique of the artwork is now exposed to everyone. And it's okay. I think it's the idea. It's the idea of like freshness comes from something else, not like mimicking a technique. So I feel like the process is incredibly important to share. And sometimes I understand, like some art critics say, oh, like I now know everything about it. It's not anymore art. It's just this another like a screensaver, or like, I mean, I understand this reflection, but I think it's too old school. I'm sorry. It's like a dinosaur, memories. And then it's just the opposite. It's the opposite. The art is changing. It's Renaissance. It's completely deconstructing the old world, and we're reconstructing a new world. And I don't believe the old biased like context and discourse works anymore.
That's absolutely fascinating. So you see the technology that you're using as being a part of this bigger story of the sort of technological innovation and AI, which obviously it is. But I love that the reason you're about transparency isn't just because, it's not about this sort of pretentious mysticism about your technique, which so many artists are into, but you actually think it's an important cultural thing to assert that we need to be transparent about how AI works. And in order for us to have a optimistic outlook on the technological age, we need to completely understand how it works. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And it's one of the reasons I'm feeling like honestly opening that gates of knowledge and experience is where I found the open and honest connection with my audience. I would not feel honest and connected when I'm hiding all the techniques behind it, or the name of an algorithm, or why and how I do it. Like, I share so much. And I mean, sometimes honestly, like my team's like, wow, like you share all these things. Like, and then yes, I mean, it's not for a gatekeeping. It's about like push the humanity's next journey, and in a way that we can be a part of it or not. I mean, if someone doesn't have a moral, they will do the same thing. It's okay. It's their moral, it's their ethics, it's their value system. It's not us. We find the other idea new and we just go somewhere else. It's easy. So
I find that incredible.
So my concern,
you're the least egotistical artist I've ever met.
I mean, I don't know how else we can move somewhere new.